Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be back as the Drew's News podcast. It's been more than a year since an episode, and I was like, all right, we got to get back in this content creation, right? All of you know that I am working in the UF Disability Research Center at the University of Florida, and so I love my job. I say that I have no kids of my own, however, I have over 800 of them because I like to say that everyone is more than a number to me. When you walk in my doors, when you roll in my doors, you're more than that. So I'm so excited to bring on Amy Meacham for the first episode. I couldn't think of a better guest to be
Yay!
with us today. She runs Extraordinary Joy, which is a local nonprofit here in Gainesville that does rare chromosome disorder research. And so I just wanted to bring her on so that she could share more of her story and how you all can also support her and their mission as well, because we are all one day happy family in the disability community, right? So with that, we will go on and get started. So just to get started, can you tell us what inspired you to start or get involved with like nonprofit focused research on rare chromosome disorder research specifically?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Drew. I appreciate you having me. I love being the first. This is so exciting. I'm glad you're back at it. You have such a gift for this and connecting people in the community. I love that. Um, so to answer your question, when my daughter was 16 months old, she was diagnosed with something we had never heard of called XQ27.3 to XQ28 deletion. And as a cancer researcher myself, I looked up every one of her 76 missing genes and the conditions they caused, like Fragile X syndrome and Hunter syndrome. And I knew our best hope of helping her, and the only handful of kids I could find with similar chromosomal break, would be to make her brain cells and study them. So I designed a study, found the researchers, and then started a charity to fund this groundbreaking research.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I always tell my students when they tell me their biology or pre-med, I'm like, look, I'm a communicator. I can communicate to you all day long, but ask me to do a math problem, ask me to solve an experiment, and that's not my strong suit. So I'm glad we have people like you in the world
I
doing
got you.
important work, right? So for those who are unfamiliar with what exactly rare chromosome disorders are and why this research is so crucial, can you kind of explain that process to them?
Sure. There are mutations to genes due to DNA being duplicated or deleted or moved around. They're called, duplications or deletions or translocations. In my daughter's case, the end of her X chromosome has 7.3 million bases of DNA missing. And most rare diseases are actually caused by just one base change. So it's so important for us to find out the implications of these DNA alterations and see if we can find some treatments. So starting this charity has helped us locate almost 60 families worldwide. Not very many, right? In 11 countries. And it's taken us 9 years to find all those families. So actually, if we don't research this ultra rare disorder, it seems unlikely it would be studied at all, nor funded by larger grants. So we must do the heavy lifting of fundraising to provide research grants, to really understand XQ27 and XQ28 deletions.
Awesome, awesome. So how do you, there's lots of different buckets and lots of different projects that you can try to prioritize here. So how do you kind of prioritize all that and maybe the types of fundraisers you do and all those things?
Sure. Projects that collect patient data and samples are really what we've been prioritizing recently. We've done a lot of basic research projects to look at how to keep the cells alive, and it transforms the samples into cells and then function returning studies. So, we're open to other ideas. However, we open our grants up at UF. They've reached out to Missouri and Minnesota. We currently have two projects going on out of the state. So that's really exciting. Um, I think, we do a lot of different small fundraisers, but our biggest fundraisers are Masquerade Ball that we have every year in November, and that is where we receive the bulk of our research funding.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, you all, if you haven't been to the Masquerade Ball, you gotta go. I will drop some information to the Extraordinary Joy website so you can go on there and purchase your tickets. I've still got to purchase my tickets as well because I went one time and then I was trying to get back and then we life gets busy and we just get involved in so many different pockets. But definitely in the Masquerade Ball. Put it on your calendar. You gotta be there. It's sure to be a great time for a great cause, right? So, have there been any breakthroughs or promising studies within your research that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, our funded research has shown that the cells lacking the part of the X chromosome where Mariah's deletion is under a lot of stress, and they do not make the necessary nutrients, or they make excess that therefore is toxic, that causes the cells to die under the stress. And our studies have actually found that adding high doses of antioxidants and omega-3s are crucial for the cells to survive. So we're not talking about a daily vitamin C pack. Um, our research is showing that it requires more potent, like superoxide dismutase, like enzymes that really need to overcome the mitochondrial dysfunction within the cells. And that was really important to me early on is how can we keep my daughter's brain cells alive so she can make memories, so she can learn to read, so she can just remember. It took her many years to remember my name, and it's just mom. She didn't speak my name until she was almost 5, and then now she says it all the time, mom, mom, mom. But you know, uh, we started her early on with as soon as we figured this out on something called OPC3. It's a powerful antioxidant that actually helps her cells neutralize the free radicals, reduce inflammation, help make her own antioxidants and promote health. So we encourage families to have them on high um, antioxidants and specific ones to help those cells stay alive. And Mariah's thriving. So we know that that research has really been impactful for her.
Absolutely. As someone who has been in your family's corner for I don't know how many years we've been connected now, it's just been so amazing to watch your daughter and your family grow and all the great strides you all are making and all the work that you all are continuing to do, right? This is just the beginning. It is not the end. There's so many exciting projects that I know of that's in the works, and I know you've posted about getting committees together. So if you all haven't checked out Extraordinary Joy on social media, please check them out because there's plenty of ways to get involved, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Can you share a story and/or a moment that really highlighted the importance of the work that you do?
Sure. I think our summer camps really highlight the importance of our work. It's really the culmination of seeing the need for kids of all abilities to be included and get to play together. These last two summer camps are a dream come true through a lot of volunteer support and hard work. Children with complex medical and behavioral needs playing alongside their peers has meant a lot to families and workers. These smiles and happy stories move me to pursue more opportunities, sustainable long-term possibilities
Mhm.
like a school. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think our organization has really um, really move toward inclusive opportunities and community and providing community.
Absolutely. And I got to see some of the photos of the summer camp, and Drew's News will be involved next year. I'm gonna take that PTO and I'm just gonna go. It's definitely amazing and exciting to watch the work at hand. What are some of the on the flip side of the research, the excitingness, what are some of the biggest challenges you all face when it comes to raising awareness or funding research?
Ah, probably my own personal limits. I don't like to ask for help and find it hard to keep asking the same people over and over again to support something that doesn't necessarily affect them personally. But thankfully, the community continues to be so generous and supportive.
Absolutely. As someone as a person with a disability himself, I always say that I'm very strong-willed and very determined, and I'm like, I don't want to ask for help, right? I want to get it done and do this, but sometimes one of the biggest things that I've learned is, hey, we all need help along the way, disability or not, right? The disability community is the one marginalized group that people could join at any time, right? You are one accident away, one fall away from joining our community. So we always say nothing about us without us, right? And it takes a team, right? It takes people with
Absolutely.
and without disabilities because, like you said, we try to be superhumans, right? But we need the support along the way. Um, so how do you advocate for more attention to rare diseases in a system that often focuses on more common conditions or diagnoses?
Sure. Yeah, people tend to want to support something big like cancer or with a prettier name like Alzheimer's or diabetes, but it's hard to wrap your brain around something named with numbers that you can't remember. It's really important for us to keep putting out stories and sharing the people affected. My daughter Mariah loves to share joy, and that is how we keep advocating and gaining attention with stories like hers, with joy and pain like hers. Um, I wouldn't say I'm the best at growing our efforts. I really hope the Extraordinary Joy model would pick up globally. I really hope other rare chromosome disorders launch research and communities. I really hope more families around the world with XQ27 and XQ28 deletions will rise up and start things in their towns and cities. I feel like there's still so much more that we can do. Um, we do have a private Facebook group to connect with other families affected by XQ27, 28 deletions. I map their deletions and help them understand the complexities. We actually have our website that connects families. Even genetic counselors have found us this way so that they can give resources to their family, to families that are diagnosed. Um, but we've also just found the importance of supporting our local community with that are affected by rare chromosome disorders. In fact, we have a group in town. We call ourselves the Rare Mamas, and it's five moms, and we there's more than that in town, but we really connected very early on after our children were diagnosed, and we're impacted by trisomy 18, my friend Peyton, our Coughlin-Cyrus syndrome, my friend Eli, 19p 13 point through duplication is what my friend Claire has, and that we have a friend that has another XQ28 disorder called Rett syndrome, Harper has. And all of these are in Alachua County, and this community has really opened my eyes and heart to providing more opportunities for our kids to be included and loved. Um, so starting research has really involved to this community and advocating for these conditions and these families.
Yeah, I truly believe there's power in community, right? I think back to my time at the University of Florida as a student there, and I lived in Cypress Hall, which is only one of two accessible dorms in the nation. Amy, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to kind of see that space, but if you
Just in
ever
your pictures.
yeah, if you ever want to, let me know and I can connect you with our office. But it's only one of two in the nation that is fully accessible and ADA compliant for individuals with disabilities to go to college, right? And so we, as people with disabilities, we have the same hopes, dreams, and aspirations as everyone else. And so I say that to say, growing up, I didn't really have that community with a disability. I grew up in a small town in Trenton, Florida, and it's a one stoplight town, and if you blink, you'll miss it. So luckily, I was very included, very involved within my high school, student body president, all the things. But then when I went to Cyprus, I was like, I was hesitant about moving to a dorm because I lived in an apartment, and so I'm like, no, my specialist named Jenna, she's like, you gotta move to Cyprus. And I'm like, I'm not living in a dorm, right? But once I really got into space and saw the iPad that controls the blinds and doors. The walk-in shower was really the highlight for me and the game changer because for 23 years prior to Cyprus, I had to crawl in and out of the bathtub head first, right? And so they have a horror lift system that takes you from the bed to the shower, all throughout the room. It's just so amazing. So I really hope that that statistic changes, right? Because people with disabilities, we want to get degrees, we're educated. We don't just sit in a bed all day and do nothing, right? I think that's what society likes to do is put us all in a box. And
And I think we don't realize these things until we have friends in the community. I mean, when we started realizing like our home isn't super accessible, we put a ramp instead of the step up into our home so that our friends in wheelchairs could come into our home and be welcome. And we did put a kind of a shower that will like allow people to what did you call it? The walk-in?
rocking,
Yeah.
rolling.
Roll-in. Yeah, we've got a roll-in shower. We have it just opens our eyes to things that um are missing or needed in the community. And you're so good at highlighting these things. But I think if you're in this community, then your eyes are open and you're constantly seeing where we can make more changes and things more accessible and inclusive.
Absolutely. I really love the principle of universal design, right? It benefits more than just people with disabilities, right? It benefits all. You're gonna have a grandparent, grandma, grandpa, someone in your life that can benefit from that. And, the reality of the matter is, unfortunately, we're all gonna get old one day and we're gonna need it, right? So I try to
God willing, God willing.
Yep. So I try to tell people you're gonna need it. I just went on a vacation, a spur of the moment vacation. Actually, Amy was so gracious. We were supposed to record this episode a week ago, but my grandma called me up because I had a week off of work, and she's like, "Let's go to the mountains." So we went to the mountains in Dillard, Georgia, and actually their ADA accessibility was very great. I was surprised because I expected opposite, being in the mountains and all the things. They have that roll-in shower, and so it's just those little aha moments, the things that people, like you said, you wouldn't really think about in that moment, but the little changes is what matters the most for all of us in the disability community.
Yeah, I love that.
So with that, we talked a little bit about the work and the power and the work that you do. So what can any listeners and or viewers do to support that mission? Whether they're in the scientific community, have a personal connection, or are simply interested in becoming an ally.
Oh, I would love them to become an ally. I would love them to sign up for our emails, go to our website, our social media, open our emails, sign up to volunteer, participate in the fundraising and inclusive efforts. Bring your kids to our camp or our school, our events. Right now, we're just we're just spearheading the a new fundraiser that's so easy. Anyone can do wherever you are. They can go to extraordinaryjoy.org and become a fundraiser, support existing fundraisers. It's going to pop up as soon as you go to extraordinaryjoy.org. It's our new effort to just to have the fundraising efforts and advocacy pick up anywhere that they are. So every $300 raised earns 3 tickets to our masquerade ball, November 8th, where we raise the bulk of our research and outreach, like I was saying. We have quite a huge goal this year with needed school startup costs. We will have some other prizes, not just the tickets for masquerade ball, so people out of state and out of the country even can join us. But that is another way that our communities can help by donating prizes or things we can raffle off. Vacation spots will be a big one this year. Gift cards are always a huge hit, but we don't turn away anything. We just had an Amazon tester donate about 40 items that they had tested from Amazon to go into our raffles and auctions. And so I love it. They're a little, there's some toys, there's some housewares and electronics and uh, just really exciting things. But um, just we're always looking to partner with people and we recognize our sponsors and our community partners probably more than any other nonprofit as far
Yep,
as
yep.
I recognize. But
It's
uh,
on social, it's on t-shirts, it's everywhere.
we got yeah, I've got all these logos
Yep, yep,
back here. Yeah,
yep. Awesome, awesome. Another cool thing that I just wanted to point out is I know that Facebook has this really cool feature when people have their birthdays, right? They can
yeah,
raise money for certain causes, and so that's just another way that anyone, anywhere in the world can support the cause. So
yeah,
maybe raise
yeah,
funds for your birthday for
yeah,
Extraordinary Joy.
yeah,
The opportunities to get involved and get plugged in are limitless. I specifically want to point out, to our college community at the University of Florida and Santa Fe College. You all have student groups and chapters there, so if they
yeah.
want to get involved in those, definitely do so. Reach out, and there's plenty of ways to serve and to get involved. Right. So the final question, it's probably the biggest question, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, Drew, this is a loaded question." But I ask everyone that comes on the show and everyone that will come on the show this question, and that is simply, what do you hope the legacy of your organization will be?
I think our legacy is joy. I think this is what comes to mind when people participate with us in our outreach events or fundraising events. They call half the time they call Mariah Joy, which is her name, Mariah Joy. But she is a joy. Next month is our sixth, maybe, I think, virtual worldwide Zoom where families from Australia and New Zealand join families from Europe and South America and all over the US as well. And I urge everyone to keep a lookout for that information because it's a free event and it gets time to engage with are the families that are affected by XQ 28. You don't have to have that to get on the Zoom and get to engage with them. And I just encourage anybody. It's a fun, joyful virtual scavenger hunt. But yes, extraordinary joy is our legacy as much as our name. Peace and gladness despite the challenges and it's in the ordinary and in the extraordinary. And I think the name is our legacy, Extraordinary Joy.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've heard that song, Out of the Ordinary. Da, 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 da. I don't know how it goes. I'm not a good singer, y'all. But I love that song. It's like stuck in my head and all those things. And but yeah, it's been a joy and a pleasure being with you this morning. See what I did there? But
Yes.
with that, folks, you've all just listened and or watched another episode or the first returning episode, should I say, of the Drew's News podcast and YouTube channel. So if you or someone you know have a topic you would like to cover, and or are just spreading positivity, spreading good in the world, right? We live in a time where there's so much negativity, so I just use my platform to spread joy. We're going to use that word joy this morning. But if you have something that you'd like to share, reach out to me. Follow me on all social media platforms at the Drew's News Podcast, or reach out to me at our brand new email, Drew's News and Podcast at gmail.com. I've decided to kind of switch everything over to more of a professional room, and I also was running out of storage space. So I'm like, if I create a new account, it will give me storage, and I'm sure Amy can attest, there can never be enough storage to store all the documents and all things. But anyways, thanks so much for joining me this morning, you all. Thanks for listening, supporting all these different organizations, including myself. And we will be back with a brand new episode after this as well. We have some exciting episodes to come. University of Florida Athletics will be on. We've got a lawyer that has a physical disability that will be on. So I'm just so excited for this brand new era and brand new chapter of the Drew's News podcast. And as always, remember, if you can dream it, you can drew it.